Hey everyone, it's Kendall, and Jerry is joining me today because baseball is back. And who better to talk baseball with than you, Jerry? So thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to be here.
All right, so officially a 60-game season is set. What was your opinion, kind of before we jump into that, on the negotiations that were going on by the MLBPA and the MLB for kind of months at a time? Did you kind of side with anyone during that time?
Not really, Kendall. I think I was like most baseball fans. I just wanted it to get done. There was so much at stake. Obviously, the money was the big bargaining chip that each side had, and use it against the other. But I think I was just like, hey, we gotta get something done here. There's too much at stake. America needs baseball. The players need to play. The owners need to have their players play. I was disappointed, I think, in some of the posturing from the players' side, not necessarily siding with the owners, Kendall, but some of the reaction that they got, instead of, hey, you know what, we got your offer, we don't accept it, we respectfully decline, let's get back to the bargaining table. Instead, it was, how can you insult us like you did? And there's absolutely no way we can do it. I mean, I think the public nature of the bargaining, I think, brought everybody down. I think it could have been handled in a much more professional way.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of just disheartening because I love baseball and I love, all the summers that we have with it and stuff. And it was just disheartening to see that during this time, especially, that is what they were choosing to kind of pick and prod over. So, but we're here now. We have baseball. So in the announcement, 60 games, that means the Rockies are going to play 40 games against division rivals and then 20 games against a corresponding division in another league. So how do you think that kind of schedule fares with the Rockies and their roster this season?
Yeah, I think number one, you have to get off to a fast start. If you don't, you're going to be buried. I look at it, and I played college baseball and coached on the college level, Kendall. It's like a college season. NCAA has 54 regular season games, so it's kind of like in college, and every game's going to mean a little bit more. But to answer your question, I think for the Rockies, it's going to be a matter of them getting off to a good start, and that means that you can't, I think, fall 10 games back, 500 or below 500, and expect to climb back because there's not enough time. In a 6-month season, you can do that. In a 3-month season, it's almost a 2.5-month season, almost impossible. So I think for the Rockies, and they, other than a couple of years in the last 5 or 6, have gotten off to pretty good starts. Last year, I think they started 3-12 and recovered and had a winning record at the 60-game mark. But they've got to play better than that at the beginning. I think you'll see a different kind of game. You'll see Nolan Arenado playing every single day. There's no day off for any of these regular players.
Do you think it's obviously it's a weird season, it's a different season, but do you like how they're kind of embracing, the 60 games, anything can happen? The Washington Nationals started last season 19-31. So really in this season, anything can happen and anyone can win. Do you look at it though as kind of a season with an asterisk above it? Like someone's going to win, but you're really not going to ever call them a true champion?
Yeah, I think there will be that. I think it's like the strike-shortened years. You'll have a pandemic-shortened season, way shortened for Major League Baseball. But at the same time, I think it's going to be fascinating. I really do, because every game's going to mean so much more than in a regular 162-game schedule. It's like the NBA playing their proposal to play 8 regular season games and have this Final Four, this March Madness type of thing shootout. I think it'll be fascinating. Every game's going to be so important. So I think it'll be fun to watch. It'll be great to have baseball back, Kendall. But I think the format of it now, having 60 games and every game, you can't be a manager and say, we lost this one tonight, but we'll come back tomorrow and get to it. No, we lost a game and it's crucial. So I think from a fan standpoint, I think it'll be fascinating to watch as it proceeds.
And it's a great time for teams to get creative too, because across all leagues, NFL, you see hockey doing it, NBA, even MLS, WNBA, they're all getting creative because now's the time where why not take a risk and a chance on doing something new, right?
Exactly right. And I think you'll see that. I think you'll see some strange things in baseball that you haven't seen before, haven't seen in a long time because of the 60-game schedule. And the rosters are bigger and there's a taxi squad. I mean, it's all extra inning games are going to be fascinating. So I think, I think it'll be a situation where manager and coaches and certainly players got to get creative at some point.
So with a 60-game season, what are the Rockies shifting their focus towards to make sure that they make the most out of those 60 games, whether it's on the roster or, bullpen moves? What do you think their focus is going to be on the majority of this time?
I think it is number one is starting pitching. It always comes down to that, and that's key for every team, no matter what kind of schedule you have. So starting pitching is always a key. I think with the Rockies too, you can't wait out slumps in a 60-game schedule. If Ian Desmond or Daniel Murphy or something gets off to a slow start and you're in the regular season waiting for him to come around, you're probably not going to do that in a 60-game schedule. Hey, you're one for your last 12. We got to take you out of the lineup and get somebody else in there that can produce. I think you'll see shorter leashes on players offensively. Maybe not necessarily with the pitching, but I think offensively you'll see that. You got a taxi squad. Let's bring somebody else in to take that spot if you're not producing. And I think the patience for a manager and a franchise will be a little bit less in a 60-game schedule than it would be normally.
And for players, I mean, you were around those guys all the time, and they get into horrible slumps where it takes weeks, sometimes a month or so. They have good games throughout a month or two. How could a 60-game season affect their career and just like even the mentality? Baseball is such a mental game. And if you get into a slump in game 32, it might be hard for you to recover with such a short season.
I think it's a great point, by the way. I think you have to approach it differently. I think everybody needs to look at this season and say, this is going to be different. This is going to be odd. It's going to be strange. I have to adapt as your player physically and mentally. All right. I can't work myself out of a slump like I would in the regular season if it's 162 games. So I need to be on my A game all the time. And I think guys like Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado and Charlie Blackmon are going to play every day, and they go through slumps. You're going to have more patience with those guys. But the fringe players, probably not. I mean, you have to produce, and I think as a player, you have to take that mentality like, you know what, if I don't produce for a couple of games, I'm probably going to sit down, but I can't let that affect me. I can't look at it like a regular season. I have to look at it like a college season.
Got it. And 60 games, do you have any predictions? Do you have kind of any idea where you think the Rockies will finish up this year?
I just got a feeling they might be okay this year. I think in a long season, the bullpen on paper is going to be a weakness again. But I think in a 60-game schedule, you can kind of piece together, a bullpen if you have to in 60 games because you'll do it differently. So I just got a feeling because the Rockies traditionally get off to pretty good starts. I think that you might see them make the playoffs in a 60-game schedule. I think I can tell you this, Kendall, being around the players like I have the last 10 years and the guys that are still on the roster, and then being in contact a little bit in the offseason with them, they are raring to go. I mean, they can't. Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, Ian Desmond, those guys can't wait to get on the field again. I think for that reason, you'll have a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. Hopefully that translates into success on the field.
Oh, you're getting me excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch them. Well, thank you so much, Jerry, for joining us. And everyone, make sure to check out Jerry's show, Amazing Americans, on 7:30 on Sundays. And catch him with us on The Fan. He's filling in. He's doing great. Thank you so much for joining me, Jerry.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kendall. Thank you.